At the northern tip of a peninsula on the Pacific coast of California sits a collection of icons corrugated over rolling hills beneath a marine layer. This location is known as San Francisco. In addition to the rolling hills and often chilly, foggy weather, the city is iconized by its cable cars, its eclectic mix of classic and modern architecture, and its bridges. The most iconic and oldest of the bridges is this 1-mile-long suspension carrying vehicle, bicycle, and pedestrian traffic across the strait known as the Golden Gate, thus its name, the Golden Gate Bridge. While the Golden Gate Bridge enables you to enter and exit the city from the north by connecting to Marin County, the Bay Bridge enables you to enter and exit the city from the east across the San Francisco Bay by connecting to Oakland. From the southern border, 2 additional freeways will bring you in and out of the city from the peninsula. To the southwest, the John F. Foran Freeway connects San Francisco with Daly City. To the east, the Bayshore Freeway connects San Francisco with Brisbane and serves as the main artery through the Tech Corridor. But if you want a more peaceful drive into the city away from the freeways, the ironically named Skyline Boulevard will give you a greener welcome with the occasional ocean view. If you want to enter San Francisco from the southern border and avoid the roads, you have a couple of rail options. The Caltrain connects San Francisco to the rest of the peninsula down to San Jose and beyond. Bay Area Rapid Transit, usually referred to as BART, connects San Francisco to its international airport to the south, as well as a network of cities east of the San Francisco Bay via an underwater Trans-Bay tube at the northeastern part of the city. The first stop for BART passengers entering the city through the Trans-Bay Tube is the Embarcadero station, a subway station named after the city's northeastern waterfront and roadway known as the Embarcadero. The Embarcadero is saturated with so many attractions that it's hard to believe an understandably controversial double-decker freeway once stood over part of the roadway to cut the city off from its own waterfront. The Embarcadero stretches all the way from Oracle Park at its southern end to Pier 39 at its northern end. At its southern end near the ballpark sits a full-service marina called South Beach Harbor. At the heart of the Embarcadero is the waterfront's most iconic structure. Completed in 1898 and survivor of the 1906 and 1989 earthquakes, the ferry building functions as a terminal for ferries that carry passengers across the San Francisco Bay. The interior hall has a marketplace for food lovers, and the exterior has seating for outdoor dining and views of the bay. Just up the street is perhaps the Embarcadero's second most iconic location. At Piers 15 and 17, the Exploratorium is a hands-on museum featuring exhibits in science, technology, and art. The Exploratorium is one of many pier destinations along this street. Between the ferry building and Exploratorium is Pier 7, featuring a walkway that jets out into the San Francisco Bay, giving visitors scenic views of both the bay and the city skyline. Similarly, Pier 14 just southeast of the ferry building, and the pier at South Beach Harbor just outside of Oracle Park, each feature their own unique scenic views of both the bay and the skyline. These are just a few of many piers along the Embarcadero. Others include the Central Embarcadero Piers Historic District at Port of San Francisco, a cruise terminal at Pier 27, and numerous other piers that house restaurants and live music. And between the piers you'll find public art, large populations of birds, small parks, even more restaurants, and even more views of the bay. For those seeking higher views of surrounding areas, the hilly neighborhoods connected to the Embarcadero's west border are full of them. If you've seen images of San Francisco, then you've probably seen North Beach, because at its heart is 210-foot Coit Tower sitting atop Telegraph Hill. This landmark provides 360-degree views of the city, but all kinds of scenic views can be spotted all the way up to the tower and the surrounding blocks. Two popular hikes to the tower from the east are the Greenwich Steps near the corner of Greenwich and Sansome, and the Filbert Steps near the corner of Filbert and Sansome. These routes take visitors through gardens and secluded neighborhoods while providing views of the city and the bay. East of the steps at the foot of Telegraph Hill you'll find Levi's Plaza, which features a soft park with a garden on its east side where visitors may soak in the sun, and a hard park with a courtyard on its west side. But the other side of Court Tower at the western foot of Telegraph Hill is where North Beach gets its identity. The neighborhood's strong Italian heritage can be seen through the many Italian restaurants that line Columbus Avenue and other streets throughout North Beach. The intersection of Columbus Avenue and Broadway is one of the more lively intersections in the city, featuring a large mural, a popular snapshot view of the skyline, and a view of the Broadway nightlife that you will see in the closing credits. Other notable North Beach hotspots are the cable car turnaround at the corner of Bay Street and Taylor Street, and Washington Square Park at the corner of Columbus Avenue and Union Street. West of Columbus Avenue in the Russian Hill neighborhood is Ina Coolbrith Park, San Francisco Art Institute, and this famous stretch of Lombard Street. Between Hyde Street and Leavenworth Street, this section of Lombard Street, known by its unofficial title as the crookedest street in the world, is characterized by its one-way windy brick road lined with bushes, trees, and sometimes flower plants depending on the time of year. Just south of Russian Hill and Nob Hill, this neighborhood full of mansions and high-end hotels is home to Grace Cathedral and the San Francisco Cable Car Museum. At the northern end of North Beach on the waterfront is one of San Francisco's most frequented tourist destinations and the city's most iconic pier. One way to describe Pier 39 is an outdoor mall on a large dock. Visitors coming in from the Embarcadero to the east are greeted with the Aquarium of the Bay, which houses tens of thousands of Northern California marine animals. Visitors coming in from the west and the south are greeted with the courtyard that funnels visitors into the main concourse. Not unlike a mall, Pier 39 is a two-level collection of shops that is a paradise for food lovers and souvenir collectors. For the food lovers, there is bread, ice cream, candy, cookies, chocolate, seafood, more seafood, and yet more seafood. Pier 39 also has no shortage of gift shops and jewelry shops. But if you want to visit Pier 39 without getting separated from your life savings, there are plenty of sights and sounds for those here on a casual stroll. A carousel and performance stage anchor the northern third of the pier. The east side of the pier has extensive views of boats, the San Francisco skyline, the Bay Bridge, and the East Bay. The west side of the pier has a viewing area where crowds gather to observe sea lions, well, being sea lions. And the north side of the pier has views of the Golden Gate Bridge, ships, ferries, and this famous island off in the distance. Alcatraz Island sits ominously 1¼ miles off the north shore of mainland San Francisco. This popular tourist destination is best known for its practically inescapable federal prison that operated from 1934 to 1963. Landmarks of the island include but are not limited to the Warden's House, the Lighthouse, and the main cell house. Back on the mainland at another part of the San Francisco shoreline with the front view of Alcatraz, Pier 39's neighbor to the west is yet another popular tourist destination. Technically, Pier 39 is part of Fisherman's Wharf, not a neighbor, but it's the area west of Pier 39 that gives the wharf its character. Fisherman's Wharf continues the series of odd-numbered piers with Pier 41, which offers views of Pier 39 and the northern San Francisco Bay. Pier 43 features a can't-miss arch along with its own scenic views of the bay, and Pier 45 is the actual Fisherman's Wharf. Here at Pier 45, you'll see a collection of seafood businesses and historic World War II ships converted into museums. If you want even more museums, the Fisherman's Wharf neighborhood also has a Ripley's Believe It or Not museum, the Museum of 3D Illusions, Madame Tussauds, better known as the Wax Museum, there's a cartoon art museum, and Musée Mécanique, which is actually an arcade. That's not even all of the museums that are packed into this neighborhood. Boudin has its own museum and bakery tour where you get to see all kinds of artistic forms that sourdough bread can take. Because you can't talk about Fisherman's Wharf without talking about the food. Quite possibly the oldest continually operating business in San Francisco, Boudin Bakery and Cafe has been feeding the city with its famous sourdough since 1849. Here at Boudin at the Wharf, this 26,000 square foot facility features a demonstration bakery, Baker's Hall Market, a cafe, a bistro, and the aforementioned Boudin Museum and Bakery Tour. On the other side of Fisherman's Wharf is the former site of the Ghirardelli Chocolate Factory. Ghirardelli Square is home to a number of shops and restaurants as well as a 5-star hotel, but the square's main attraction is the original Ghirardelli ice cream and chocolate shop that serves ice cream and sells chocolate and other desserts. On the other side of the square, the Ghirardelli Marketplace is an outpost that serves ice cream and sells chocolate. As for the rest of Fisherman's Wharf, there is no shortage of seafood restaurants. Some are scattered along Jefferson Street, but the epicenter of seafood is on Taylor Street just north of Jefferson Street, where a number of seafood stops surround the historic Alioto's restaurant. And for those with more basic tastes, Fisherman's Wharf offers familiar chain options as well. The west side of Fisherman's Wharf offers multiple ways for visitors to walk off their food comas. Visitors can take strolls through the Maritime Garden before heading out on a cable car. Visitors can also take long walks out onto Aquatic Park Pier and or Hyde Street Pier for, you guessed it, views of the bay and the skyline, though each of these piers also offer views of old-fashioned ships. Those piers together form the Aquatic Park Cove, a popular destination for swimmers and beachgoers. If you want an even longer walk, follow the pedestrian and bike trail where Van Ness Avenue meets Aquatic Park Pier. This path will take you through a scenic route into Fort Mason, the iconic northeast anchor of the Marina District. The Marina District is characterized by 3 main attractions: the Palace of Fine Arts on its west side, its waterfront to the north, and Fort Mason to the east. From the American Civil War to the 2 World Wars, Fort Mason contributed to U.S. military operations by serving as a coastal defense site and a logistical and transport hub. Today it operates as a cultural center, with venues that include theaters and art exhibits, festive pop-ups such as tree lots and pumpkin patches, and a large green space for bike riding and harbor views. On its north side, the marina is home to the Marina Green and a collection of yacht clubs. On its west side, the marina is home to the last remaining structure of the Panama Pacific International Exposition, also known as the 1915 World's Fair. The Palace of Fine Arts is best recognized by the open rotunda that sits between a lagoon and a large curved exhibition center. The exhibition center and lagoon are separated by colonnades built to evoke decay and ruins of ancient Rome. The rest of the Marina District shares its predominantly Victorian-inspired architectural housing character with its neighbors to the south, Cow Hollow and Pacific Heights. The Cow Hollow and Pacific Heights neighborhoods are home to a number of notable residential landmarks, including the McElroy Octagon House, Mrs. Doubtfire's house, multiple mansions near Lafayette Park, and Billionaire's Row. Not far from Billionaire's Row are the Lion Street Steps. These connect the Cow Hollow and Pacific Heights neighborhoods, but they also form part of the border with the large green neighborhood to the west. This large green neighborhood, known as the Presidio, is a former military post that now functions as a large park filled with mostly outdoor recreational attractions. Just west of the Lion Street Steps is Andy Goldworthy's wood line of recycled eucalyptus trunks. This is just a small segment of a large network of miles of trails winding through the forests of the Presidio, leading to numerous hotspots and landmarks that include Fort Point, views of the Golden Gate Bridge, views of the Pacific Ocean, Crissy Field, Baker Beach, the Walt Disney Family Museum, Lucasfilm and its Yoda Fountain, and a golf course. The Presidio makes up the majority of the parklands north of a residential neighborhood sandwiched by parklands. The Richmond district is surrounded by parks to its north and south, an ocean to its west, and a number of residential neighborhoods to its east. The Richmond is home to an ethnically diverse culture of residents that include the ethnic roots of Russia, Ireland, and China. A stretch of Clement Street is sometimes referred to as the second Chinatown. This neighborhood is also home to the University of San Francisco. West of the Richmond district is one of the Bay Area's most popular surfing spots, Ocean Beach. The Great Highway separates Ocean Beach from the Richmond district and other interior neighborhoods. To the northwest of the Richmond district is Seacliff, a neighborhood best known for Land's End, a park with a rocky shoreline, numerous hiking trails, and a labyrinth sculpture. Seacliff also contains the Sutro Baths ruins, Seal Rocks, and the Cliff House with a camera obscura. To the south of the Richmond district is yet another park, perhaps the most famous in the city. From east to west, Golden Gate Park is home to over 3 miles of outdoor recreation about a half-mile wide that includes windmills, numerous lakes, collections of gardens, various athletic fields, and some indoor attractions. The park features 2 prominent windmills on its western edge, the Dutch windmill to the north, and the Murphy windmill to the south. Scattered throughout the park are numerous lakes, the 2 most noteworthy being Spreckles Lake with its model yacht club, and Stowe Lake surrounding Strawberry Hill where Huntington Falls pours from the hill into the lake. Just east of Stowe Lake is a collection of gardens. The Shakespeare Garden is of course dedicated to William Shakespeare and his works. The San Francisco Botanical Garden takes advantage of San Francisco's unique climate to foster thousands of different plant species from around the world. The Japanese Tea Garden features a tea house, a drum bridge, koi ponds, pagodas, sculptures, plants, and pathways all influenced by Japanese culture. Other Golden Gate Park attractions are Bison Paddock and the mini athletic fields. Bison Paddock is a green space home to a herd of American bison just west of Spreckles Lake. Among the athletic spaces are the Beach Chalet Fields, Golden Gate Park Archery Field, Golden Gate Park Golf Course, Golden Gate Park Polo Field, baseball fields, and former San Francisco 49ers home Kezar Stadium. When you're ready to head indoors, one option that will still give you a taste of nature is the oldest building in Golden Gate Park, the Conservatory of Flowers. This greenhouse is home to well over 1,000 species of tropical, rare, and aquatic plants. Golden Gate Park's other 2 noteworthy indoor attractions sit at opposite ends of the Music Concourse Plaza. On the northwest side is the DeYoung Museum, a fine arts museum that showcases art from the Americas, the Pacific, and from Africa. On the southeast side is the California Academy of Sciences, a natural history museum and research institute with tens of millions of specimens within its natural history collection. The building is capped by a green roof of over 1 million California native plants that help keep the building energy efficient. Between the DeYoung Museum and the California Academy of Sciences is the southwest focal point of the Music Concourse, the Spreckles Temple of Music, which overlooks a plaza of fountains and statues of various historic figures. From Music Concourse Drive, Martin Luther King Jr. Drive will take you out of Golden Gate Park and into the neighborhood on its southern border. The Sunset neighborhood is the largest neighborhood in San Francisco. The western end of the Twin Peaks Tunnel and West Portal connects the Sunset with the eastern part of the city. In the northeastern corner of the Sunset District near Grandview Park are the 16th Street tiled steps that overlook the neighborhood and the Pacific Ocean. But most of the attractions in the Sunset area are just south in neighboring Lakeshore. The focal point of Lakeshore is Lake Merced, a freshwater lake surrounded by San Francisco State University, 3 golf courses, and the San Francisco Zoo. Lakeshore is one of many neighborhoods at the southern border of San Francisco, and these neighborhoods are much less known by the public than the areas heavily trafficked by tourists. Like the Sunset District, these neighborhoods on the city's southern border primarily serve as residential communities. Some of these neighborhoods include Ocean View, Outer Mission, Excelsior, Visitation Valley, and Bayview. Some notable spots in these neighborhoods are City College of San Francisco, John McLaren Park, and Candlestick Point State Recreation Area. From this southern part of the city looking north, you'll see topography that is quite striking in its contrast to the surrounding city. The geographic center of San Francisco features its tallest peak, Mount Davidson, which gives sweeping views of the city from above. But the tallest peak isn't the city's most well known. That honor goes to a pair of hills north of Mount Davidson appropriately named Twin Peaks. The view of the city from Twin Peaks is one of the most sought after in the region. On a clear day, visitors can see the entire eastern half of San Francisco and much of the East Bay. Weather up here can be unpredictable, sometimes bringing sudden fog and/or strong gusty winds even on days the rest of the city is sunny and warm. Surrounding Twin Peaks are trails for hiking up or around the peaks. And just west is another peak, Mount Sutro, perhaps most known for the 3-legged tower built adjacent to the peak, Sutro Tower. Sutro Tower broadcasts television and radio for the San Francisco Bay Area, and can be seen from most neighborhoods in San Francisco. In contrast to these often cold, often windy mountains, the valley just east has some of the sunniest weather in the city thanks to the weather shield the mountains provide. This is Noe Valley, a neighborhood with row after row of Victorian and Edwardian style homes. Here near the neighborhood's southeast corner is its most famous landmark, St. Paul's Catholic Church, featured in the 1994 movie Sister Act. East of Noe Valley is another neighborhood known for having sunnier and warmer weather than other parts of San Francisco. The Mission District, named after Mission San Francisco de Asís, is rooted in Chicano and Latino culture dating back to Spanish settlers in the 1700s, making the Mission one of the oldest neighborhoods in San Francisco. The neighborhood has 3 main features. On the northern side, the San Francisco Armory was built in the 1910s to serve as an arsenal for multiple military organizations. On the west side, the aforementioned Mission San Francisco de Asís, also known as Mission Dolores, is a Spanish mission constructed in the 1780s, making it the oldest surviving structure in San Francisco. On Dolores Street near 16th Street, the original Mission San Francisco de Asís sits on the left of the Mission Dolores Basilica on the right. And just a couple blocks south on Dolores Street is one of San Francisco's most popular parks, Mission Dolores Park, a wavy green space with wide-angle cityscape views, and a hotspot for Pride Weekend every June. Those seeking even more expansive cityscape views can head down to the neighborhood just south of the Mission District, Bernal Heights. This neighborhood features Bernal Heights Park, which sits atop a hill visitors can hike for sweeping views of the city. On the other side of the Mission District, overlapping the northern half of the Mission's western border, is the Castro District, a Eureka Valley sub-neighborhood known for its strong LGBT presence. Throughout the neighborhood, you'll see rainbow flags symbolizing the pride and social movements of the lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, and other communities. Some of the pedestrian crossings are lined with rainbow flag colors. One of the top destinations in the Castro is the GLBT History Museum, the first full-scale standalone museum in the history of the United States dedicated to lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender culture. The most iconic destination in the neighborhood is this movie palace that opened in 1922, the Castro Theater. Just north of the Castro district is another neighborhood known for making its own anti-establishment mark on American culture. The Haight-Ashbury neighborhood is commonly known as the center for hippies and the birthplace of the 1960s counterculture movement. The laid-back hippie vibe is captured in the colorful shops lining Haight Street. The neighborhood is wedged between three parks: Golden Gate Park to the west, the Panhandle to the north, and Buena Vista Park to the east. The Panhandle is an extension of Golden Gate Park into the rest of the city. Buena Vista Park is within the Haight-Ashbury neighborhood itself, providing trails, trees, and of course the city views. Haight-Ashbury's neighbor to the east is the Lower Haight, where the US Mint can be spotted. North of Haight-Ashbury is a neighborhood that multiple San Francisco pop culture attractions call home. Western Addition encompasses at least a half dozen smaller neighborhoods, including Japantown, a historic 6-square-block enclave where the Japan Center sits, as well as the Japantown Peace Plaza with the 5-tiered Peace Pagoda. The northwest corner of Western Addition features a famous house that might not otherwise be noticed next to its similarly constructed Victorian neighbors had it not been the primary location of a popular 1990s sitcom. The Full House house attracts regular visitors who come to soak in its 90s nostalgia. Over in Alamo Square, a row of houses is similarly famous for its regular presence in media and pop culture. These are called the Painted Ladies, a row of Victorian and Edwardian houses across Steiner Street from Alamo Square Park. On the eastern edge of Western Addition within the blocks that line Van Ness Avenue is a collection of performing arts centers. This includes Herbst Theater, the War Memorial Opera House, Louis M. Davies Symphony Hall, Sidney Goldstein Theater, the San Francisco Conservatory of Music, and the New Conservatory Theater Center. On the other side of Van Ness Avenue is San Francisco's collection of government and cultural buildings, as well as even more performing arts centers. The focal point of the Civic Center is San Francisco City Hall. Its dome and Beaux-Arts style make it the most recognizable building in the neighborhood. The building overlooks the Civic Center Plaza, a 2-block space bounded at the west by City Hall, the north by the State Courthouse, the south by the Bill Graham Civic Auditorium, and the east by both the Asian Art Museum and Public Library. On the east side of the Asian Art Museum and Public Library is the UN Plaza bounded by the United Nations Federal Building to its north, and the Orpheum Theater to its south. The Orpheum Theater is perhaps the most famous of the several performing arts centers that line Market Street within the theater district. The others include American Conservatory Theater's second location, Strand Theater. There's also the Golden Gate Theater, and the Warfield. In the Tenderloin neighborhood on Geary Street, you'll find the American Music Hall, the Curran Theater, and American Conservatory Theater's primary location, Geary Theater. East of the Tenderloin is San Francisco's shopping hotspot. Union Square refers to both a one-block public plaza and the neighborhood surrounding the plaza. This shopping and hotel district is home to many popular commercial brands that make this area a tourist attraction. The manual cable car turnaround at the southern end of Powell Street also attracts tourists. At the corner of Bush Street and Grant Avenue, Union Square visitors can quickly hop from one tourist neighborhood to another. This is Dragon Gate, the unofficial entrance to Chinatown. San Francisco is home to the oldest Chinatown in North America. The neighborhood is centered around two major north-south thoroughfares. On the east side is Grant Avenue, the more heavily decorated of the two, and the one that caters more to tourists. On the west side is Stockton Street, which presents a variety of stores, markets, and restaurants that culminate into a more authentic Chinese cultural experience. This notable neighborhood location is the only Chinese hospital in the United States, which provides services to patients with language barriers to other healthcare options. Another notable location is Portsmouth Square, a popular gathering place for locals and likely the oldest public space in the city. The oldest alley in the city is believed to be Ross Alley, a popular tourist destination due to the alley being home to one of Chinatown's most popular businesses, the Golden Gate Fortune Cookie Factory. The neighborhood directly east of Chinatown and Union Square is impossible to miss. It's the city's central business district. San Francisco's business center is the financial district, home to some of the city's tallest skyscrapers that form the San Francisco skyline. Among these include 3 on California Street alone: 555 California Street, 345 California Street, and 101 California Street. But the most iconic skyscraper in the city sits on the historic Montgomery block that Mark Twain frequented during his San Francisco days. Standing at 853 feet tall, or 260 meters, the Transamerica Pyramid was the tallest skyscraper in San Francisco from its completion in 1972 until 2017. It's perhaps one of the most recognizable skyscrapers in the world. Just one block separates the Transamerica Pyramid from another iconic tower to the northwest, the Columbus Tower, also known as the Sentinel Building. This building is home to American Zoetrope, a film production company founded by Francis Ford Coppola and George Lucas that produced Coppola's The Godfather trilogy and Lucas's American Graffiti. Hidden beneath the jungle of skyscrapers that represent the modern world of finance are a number of classically designed buildings that represent the old world of finance. Throughout the financial district, these relics of the past help create the eclectic mix of architectural styles and generations the city is known for. An additional relic of the past in the financial district stands above the western entrance to Sydney Walton Park. The Colombo Market Arch is the last remaining structure of the Colombo Market that thrived in the late 19th century and the early 20th century. The Wells Fargo Museum features even more relics that open windows into early San Francisco life, and the cable car line that runs through California Street is another way people may experience a part of 19th century San Francisco that stuck around. The financial district, Union Square, and several other neighborhoods have southern borders created by the city's most famous street. Market Street has served as San Francisco's main thoroughfare since the city's original street grid was laid out during the California Gold Rush. From the southwest to the northeast, it begins in the Twin Peaks neighborhood as a curvy road open to all automobile traffic. Northeast of the Castro, the street is a wide linear path that terminates a block short of the Ferry Building. Northeast of 8th Street, where private automobiles are restricted, Market Street serves as the primary path through downtown for transit, cyclists, and pedestrians. The surface level carries streetcars and buses. Below the surface, the Market Street subway carries both the Muni Metro and BART trains. The top level of the subway carries the Muni and the bottom level carries BART. Market Street separates 2 different street grids: the slightly offset Cardinal grid to the north, and a grid parallel to Market Street to the south. The parallel grid to the south of Market Street makes up most of a neighborhood locals refer to as SoMa. The south of Market neighborhood includes sub-neighborhoods such as South Beach, Mission Bay, Rincon Hill, and the area surrounding the Transbay Transit Center, sometimes referred to as the South Financial District. The Transbay Transit Center, also known as the Salesforce Transit Center, is a 4-level transit station with a bus deck, retail space, food hall, and rooftop park. Sitting next to the transit center is the city's tallest skyscraper, Salesforce Tower. Standing at 1,070 feet, or 326 meters, the tower is the second tallest skyscraper in the United States west of the Mississippi River, behind only the Wilshire Grand Center in Los Angeles. But based on its roofline, the Salesforce Tower is the tallest U.S. skyscraper west of the Mississippi. This tower is the centerpiece of late 20th century city plans to shift development of skyscrapers from the financial district to SoMa, resulting in SoMa having many of the city's tallest skyscrapers. In addition to Salesforce Tower, SoMa is also home to 181 Fremont, Millennium Tower, and 1 Rincon Hill. As the name of the city's tallest skyscraper suggests, SoMa is home to headquarters and offices of many high-profile Silicon Valley tech companies. SoMa is also home to the main campus of Academy of Art University. Less than a block from Academy of Art is another art institution, the San Francisco Museum of Modern Art. This museum, also known as SF-MoMA, is one of the largest modern and contemporary art spaces in the world, featuring thousands of works of painting, sculpture, photography, architecture, design, and media art. SF-MoMA is one of several museums and art exhibits in the Yerba Buena area of SoMa. Others include the Museum of African Diaspora, the California Historical Society, the Contemporary Jewish Museum, the Children's Creativity Museum, and the Yerba Buena Center for the Arts. These museums and art exhibits surround the centerpiece of the Yerba Buena area, a collection of gardens known as the Yerba Buena Gardens. This area provides a large green space, water features, and views of the skyline. Across Howard Street from Yerba Buena Gardens is the largest convention and exhibition complex in San Francisco. This is the Moscone Center, a 3-block complex that has hosted video game conferences, traditional comic book conventions, Macworld, and the 1984 Democratic National Convention. On the other side of the freeway, SoMa has even larger venues for hosting major public events. Oracle Park, formerly known as Pacific Bell Park, SBC Park, and AT&T Park, is a waterfront ballpark on the edge of the San Francisco Bay that hosts numerous concerts and sporting events throughout the year. Widely considered one of the premier stadiums in Major League Baseball, its primary tenant is the San Francisco Giants. Notable features of the stadium include the large Coca-Cola bottle beyond the left field bleachers, the large baseball glove next to the Coke bottle, the brick wall in right field that is 24 feet tall in honor of Willie Mays, the body of water beyond the brick wall called McCovey Cove in honor of Willie McCovey, and the walkway separating the wall and the water speckled with plaques honoring accomplishments by Giants players such as Barry Bonds and Tim Lincecum, and other plaques honoring accomplishments by Giants teams such as the 3 World Series championships won during the 2010s. Another Major League Sports franchise with 3 championships during the 2010s plays just a few blocks south on 3rd Street. The Golden State Warriors play their home games here at the Chase Center, an indoor arena with over 18,000 seats for NBA games and over 19,000 seats for concerts. The arena features a large screen that feeds live in-game basketball action to the crowd. Across 3rd Street from Chase Center is the Mission Bay campus of a prominent center for research and teaching in the medical and biological fields. This is a campus for University of California, San Francisco, also known as UCSF. The southern part of UCSF is in the neighborhood just south of SoMa. In addition to UCSF's Benioff Children's Hospital, the Potrero Hill neighborhood contains notable places such as California College of the Arts, the Museum of Craft and Design, and the Anchor Brewing Company. The eastern part of the neighborhood is flatland called Dogpatch, which is characterized by its heavy industry and having some of the oldest homes in San Francisco. The western part of Potrero Hill is wedged between 2 freeways and is characterized by its hills with scenic views of downtown. Despite Lombard Street getting the crookedest street label, this windy stretch of Vermont Street near McKinley Square makes it the actual crookedest street in the city. US Route 101 forms the western edge of Potrero Hill and runs north into the Interstate 80 freeway that brings automobile traffic to and from Oakland through an island in the middle of the San Francisco Bay. As mentioned in the Coming to the City chapter, the Bay Bridge connects San Francisco to Oakland over the San Francisco Bay. Yerba Buena Tunnel connects the San Francisco span of the Bay Bridge with the Oakland span of the Bay Bridge here at Yerba Buena Island. Yerba Buena Island is connected via causeway to Treasure Island, an artificial island built for the 1939 Golden Gate International Exposition. The island provides a view of the city ready to capture a new heart one can't help but leave behind.